Welcome back. President Trump approved the sale of Nvidia's H200 AI chips to China. The White House will implement a strict security review process for those chips, which will be built in Taiwan, shipped to America, and then sold. But Beijing is looking to limit its companies' access to this technology. Joining me now is Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow Gordon Chang. Gordon, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I guess my first question is, why would Beijing want to limit their use of this very advanced chip, which they've been wanting for the longest time anyway?
My guess, Maria, is that they're trying to coerce President Trump into giving approval for Nvidia's best chips, its Blackwell chips. China did not want its companies to buy the H20, and they didn't. And so then you have Jensen Huang talking to President Trump. Now they're approving a much better chip. And I think that China realizes there's a very good dynamic for it right now. And so it's going to coerce the president into giving approval for the best chips. I see.
Now, look, these chips are needed for military. They're needed for drones and military equipment, not just, technology that everyone uses. So there was a story in the Wall Street Journal weeks ago that said that China was going to limit rare earths to any company tied to the military. Will the U.S. limit these chips to companies that are not tied to the Chinese military as well?
Well, President Trump's Monday posting on Truth Social, where he announced that he was going to give approval for the H200, said that there was going to be a vetting process and that only, quote unquote, approved customers would get the chip. But we know that China is able to evade those controls. And President Trump knows that once those chips are in China, he can't control it. And we've just had this report, unconfirmed, but the report that DeepSeek, the Chinese AI company, is now using the Blackwell chip that was obviously smuggled into China. And we also know one other thing, Maria, and that is Nvidia has been selling a lot of chips to Singapore. There are no data centers in Singapore. Singapore is known to be a smuggling transshipment point. And so we need to have an investigation into what Nvidia knows about the sale of its chips onto China, because a lot of them are getting into China in contradiction to American export controls.
Yeah. I was interested in seeing what Mexico is doing now. Mexican lawmakers have approved an up to 50% tariff on China and other Asian nations. That'll take effect January 1. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum taking a page from President Trump's playbook, saying that these tariffs are needed to boost domestic production. China reporting its trade surplus passed $1 trillion during the first 11 months of the year. Exports increasing 5.4%, according to reports year over year, with imports declining slightly. Chinese exports to the U.S. were down roughly 29%, despite Xi Jinping and President Trump reaching that trade agreement in October. And the International Monetary Fund is urging Beijing to fix its economic imbalances, saying that it relies too much on exports for growth. Well, that's been the case from decades, Gordon. Your reaction to all of this?
Well, what we're seeing right now is China try to redirect its trade away from not away from the United States, but it realizes it can't get into the U.S. market, is having trouble getting into the EU and Japan. So it's now trying to sell to the global South. And this is great policy on the part of President Trump. What he's doing is he's putting pressure on Mexico to increase the tariffs on Chinese goods so you don't have these diversions. This is really important because, as we have learned from the Financial Times, China is making trade, quote unquote, impossible. That's the Robin Harding op-ed about a week ago. And that's true. China demands that countries keep their markets open while it shuts its market. Yeah. And so really, we've got to stop China from devouring the world.
Well, I mean, look, President Trump has been very strategic on this point in terms of strengthening relations with other countries like Japan and other nations within Asia, Australia, not to mention the rest of the world. But tensions have been escalating between China and Japan after Chinese fighter jets aimed a fire control radar at Japanese F-15 jets during a training exercise. The State Department backing up Japan, writing this: China's actions are not conducive to regional peace and stability. Our commitment to our ally Japan is unwavering, and we're in close contact on this and other issues. Gordon, your reaction? We know that the president has a very strong relationship with the new Prime Minister of Japan, Sinai Takaishi.
Yes, and not only are we backing up Japan with the words from the State Department, and kudos to Secretary Rubio for that, we're also surging military assets into the region. So, for instance, just a few hours ago, our B-52s went on a joint exercise with Japan's F-15s and F-35s. That's in response to a joint China-Russia air drill. And we also know that the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group just chopped into the 7th Fleet. In other words, it will be available for operations near Japan if necessary. And that is in response to China's unprecedented surging of over 100 vessels into its peripheral waters. So we're seeing China, Russia, Japan, the United States put their assets into a very small location. And that is dangerous. But it's absolutely what we've got to do, because we've got to reestablish deterrence. We've lost deterrence, and now we've got to get it back. And history says that the most dangerous times in history are when countries try to reestablish deterrence.
Yeah, for sure. Gordon, great to get your take on all of this. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Gordon Chang.